Hey, my friends, Father Peter from Our Lady of Mount Virgin, just reaching out on this Wednesday during Holy Week, which is often called Spy Wednesday. Why Spy Wednesday? Simply because it was the day in which Judas's intent to betray Jesus was formulated, and that takes place tomorrow night. And in the sense of how the term is used, spy means to ambush, and that's exactly what he did to Jesus. Despite the fact that he was one of the 12 chosen by Jesus and looked upon with great love by Jesus, despite what he pulls off, so to speak, in the end. Take a quick glance at all of the disciples and some of their somewhat shadiness. You've got Peter, who was very boastful and proud. You've got Matthew, the shady tax collector. You've got the doubting Thomas, and others, all different personalities, all human beings, all sinners, just like us. But remember, I always say, being a sinner doesn't make you a bad person, it makes you human. 11 of them choose to eventually follow Jesus completely. Judas intends to betray him, which he does. So when we take a look at Judas's personality, given that he was an intelligent businessman and he held the purse for Christ and was a close follower for a while at least, what happens that allows his friendship with Jesus certainly to fizzle, so that he doesn't really recognize and come to know and appreciate Jesus's love for him? There are many, many factors, So sometime in the friendship, Judas slowly begins to lose his faith in the goodness and the sincerity and the compassion and the love of Jesus. To be his follower means to be very loyal and to be faithful and to gradually gain an understanding of him in all of our lives. And that's a give and take in all of our friendships, even now throughout our lives. Now, Jesus had many friends that we know of in the gospel, people with whom he was extremely, very close with. So something must have been missing in Judas himself, something that we need to make sure that we don't lose within our own heart and within our own soul and within our own faithfulness as we continue to try and follow Jesus. Maybe he was clutching too close to those purse strings, Perhaps his pride of being the treasurer made him develop a sense of superiority. Or it could even have made Judas think that Jesus is going to work another miracle and set himself free from what was impending in the life of Christ himself for all of us, which is why we really celebrate Easter. But if we allow him, Jesus meets all of us as the sinners that we are, and he lifts us out of all of our bad choices. Look what happens to Jesus after the resurrection, just by a glance and a look of love from Jesus to the St. Peter who denies him. Look at the Thomas who he extends a hand to take it to place in his wound so that he could ultimately believe. So Judas allows his own self-hatred to really control him. He doesn't offer an apology of word to Jesus. He doesn't shed any tears in any of his actions. He doesn't allow himself to be vulnerable with Jesus, who loves him deeply despite what happens. Judas loses all hope and ultimately ends up in what we call or know as the sin of despair. It's a good opportunity for all of us to certainly evaluate all of our own friendships, certainly that with Jesus and that with God, who loves us unconditionally. So in our daily routine and our journey with Jesus, truly in a friendly relationship, we need to listen intently to what he says. We'll need to allow ourselves to listen to what God is saying, really in all of our hearts, and to learn from other people's experiences, to learn from what Judas did. So my friends, friendship really and truly is a precious gift. And when you have found that gift, you'll do everything not to let it go. It might be a really good idea for us to spend some time just reflecting upon in these holy days, our friends, our friendships, and to thank God for the gift of all of our friends, to thank God for the gift of the friendship we have in Jesus. God bless you all, my friends, in the days ahead.